It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Welcome in, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. You see the face over there, you know it well. It's not Ryan Ermanni, it is that of Anson Wells joining us today. Anson, how you feeling, my guy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I had a nice, relaxing holiday.
Okay, what you doing?
I did not do much, to be quite honest with you. Stayed mostly around the house, took the dog out in the woods a whole bunch, and caught up on some work. How about you?
Much of the same. Hung out with the family a little bit on Thursday, but Friday, golf early. But then after that, man, chilled at the crib Friday, chilled at the crib Saturday, drove to Cleveland. We talked about it, went to a concert. So did that on Sunday, but it was nice and chill. Sometimes less is more, I'm finding out in life. And so I enjoyed my 4th with my family and my girl. Shout out to her. Tom Mazaway, how you feeling? They bring you in on a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Tuesday.
Hey, man, it is hot out. It is hot out. It's uncomfortable. I don't really love the summer. I got to be honest. I don't like the humidity, but it's another day above ground. So I'll say it's a good time. I went and saw the Tigers last night.
Okay. Hey. Shout out to the Tigers, winning their 4th straight.
Enjoyed that game. 2 hours, 10 minutes. 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Montero pitched a shutout, man.
Yeah, he was a real fun time. Got to see Kirk Gibson, hang out with Gibby. Listen to him, man. He's like still a manager because he managed the Diamondbacks back in the day. This guy, it's amazing to watch a game with a guy like Kirk Gibson. I got so lucky to get to sit next to him last night.
Shout out, Gibby.
It was really cool.
What were the feels? What were him in terms of being inside Comerica Park? People recognizing him in that space. Like, what was that like?
Oh, you know what? We were upstairs in the press box.
You guys were upstairs in
the press box. But
okay, never mind.
He was showing me all this video of all these young Tiger players that are ready to burst on the scene because he's got all the access on his phone. I mean, they got some talented young guys down there. They just got to get up here and do their thing. Yep, Jackson Jobe is a guy. Jackson Jobe, he loves Jace Young.
Yep.
Another guy, Max Clark down in AA right now.
Is it Human Lin or
Say again?
What's the Asian pitcher?
Young Lee or something?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Top 15, top 20 young pitcher in the minors right now.
Yeah.
Oh, good you got a chance to watch the game with Kirk. I know a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I know it was a situation where he called into a particular radio station. And he was preaching patience.
He brought that up to me, and he's like, since then, they've won like 4 games.
Yeah, 100%. He was preaching patience at the time, and a lot of Tigers fans were tired of hearing the words patience. They didn't want to give Sky Harris a chance, so that was a big thing. But good. Always good to see Gibby. We typically see him in here. And, yes, if you heard him right, the Tigers win last night 1-0. 4 games in a row. They sweep the Rays, and then they win the first against the Cleveland Guardians, who have been red hot as of our. Hey,
Montero pitched awesome. This kid. That's back-to-back good games against the Twins. He beat the Indians, beat the Guardians last night.
And that's good
offense.
pitching.
That's good pitching.
The Tigers have been doing that to us all season. It's like the second you want to dial out, the second you want to say, all right, you know what, cool, that's it. They're 7 games behind.
4 in a row.
Here comes a sweep.
Right.
Here comes game 1 against the number 1 team in the division. So it's one of those type of seasons. This is what the Red Wings did to us at the end. I see the Tigers are going to do it to us the whole season. But at least there's some signs. At least there's some, it seems like they may be able to make something happen.
They got a little life. This can't hit to save their lives.
Nah,
that won't change. Poor Akil Baddoo. I mean, he's so overmatched up here. It's once in a while he'll get lucky. He'll get a high fastball, and he can ride that out. Besides that, he looked so out of it last night. And, you get guys that get hurt. Parker Meadows came up right away, hurts the hamstring. He's going to be gone probably a month. So it's tough, man. It's tough out there. They're going to sell. It's coming up.
Say sell. They're selling Flaherty.
Probably.
They're not selling Skubal.
Skubal's staying.
100% Skubal. Because at the end of the day, we talked about it, Anson. If Skubal you expect to be this transcendent thing, then that means he's going to do this again next year, which means you'll still be able to get your bang for your buck. But Flaherty is gone. And I think that's why they're having him pitch, Maz. If I'm understanding correctly, Flaherty's on the mound on Thursday. So is that kind of part of it? Show Flaherty, see what he can do so you can get ready to kind of package him up?
Well, and he's a guy who has suffered injuries and has that label throughout his career. Tigers took a chance, and he has shown a little bit of injury problems just recently. They need to get him on the mound. They need to showcase him, and then they need to sit him until they move him. But, the nice thing about the Tigers right now is how many years in the last 10 years have we seen this team just absolutely throw away April and then have month after month of nice runs like we're seeing right now, but it didn't matter. At least with these runs, they get close to knocking on the door again. And we know, hey, if they can sustain this and start playing, 600 ball for just a few weeks, this is a wild card that the Tigers could be playing for come the end of the season.
Man, let's just take a look at the rest of this week. I guess we're talking about Tigers, so let's stick with talking about the Tigers. They got 3 more against the Guardians this week, and then they have 3 against the LA Dodgers on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm trying to go to the Friday game. I think that's the move that I want to make. 6:40, that game will be. We keep asking the same questions, and we know that they cannot hit the ball. I mean, Matt Canna, who's not the guy that you want to bring in like they did. He gets your only RBI yesterday as Matt Canna batting 224 or whatever it is. If the Tigers somehow get through this gauntlet, is it the same old question? It's not optimism because we know they can't hit. If they somehow 3-1 the Twins and then 2-1 the Dodgers, does it even matter?
It does.
Okay, tell me why.
It does, man, because you go to the All-Star break on an upswing. I mean, if you can win a series against the Guardians and then steal one against the Dodgers, that gives you so much going into the All-Star break. You get, 5 days off, 6 days off to enjoy it. Go watch Home Run Derby on Monday and then the All-Star game on Tuesday, then back to work on Thursday or Friday. So it gives you a good jump to the second half. It's the way you want to play ball right now because August is coming. And what do they say? It's the dog days of August.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you got to get through that month. But let's get through July first.
Before we leave the Tigers, I want to talk about 2 things. One, they did sweep the Reds, but on the Reds is a player by the name of Ellie De La Cruz.
Stole his 45th last night.
He's fast.
The fastest. It was the most stolen bases for the Cincinnati Reds before the halfway point since 1931.
Yeah. Wow.
1937, some of the story. I think Deion Sanders was on that list with 41.
He was.
Eric Gant, was it? Eric Davis was on the list with 42. But tremendous. He's just an exceptional player. You see the game last night, tries to steal home. They tag him out. He steals 3 bases in the process. I think he still stole home at some point in the game. Is the hype, is it real?
Yeah. We talked about him, the whole bunch of guys in the press box.
Okay.
His name went around. He stole second after the catcher.
You saw how he set him up?
Yeah. After the catcher threw the ball back to the pitcher, that's when he took off.
Because they were saying something that whatever the catcher's name is, they were saying to the extent that he has a slow release and he doesn't pay attention. So they kind of scouted that, and he basically, as soon as he was going, he took off. Catcher never even looked at him. He's already there by the time.
He's like a triple. If you walk him, it's like a triple.
It's true because he'll get the third.
Yeah, he's amazing. If you really are so about baseball, watch Ellie De La Cruz with the Reds anytime you get a chance. He's a must-watch TV, just like Shohei Ohtani is.
He's an absolute menace. If he can ever get his K rate under control, he could be the best player in the MLB.
He's young.
Yeah, he is young, and the K rate right now, that's kind of like the thing in baseball. They don't care about how many Ks you get as long as you're hitting the ball. The Tigers have 2 All-Stars that announced yesterday as well. When you get a chance to talk about it, obviously Tarek Skubal potentially could start for the AL, and then also Riley Green makes the list. Where are you with Riley Green's All-Star? Do you feel like it's one where he went out and earned it and he showed you something along the way, or is it kind of like, all right, we see the Tigers trying, we'll give a guy a shot?
I might butcher this. I could be wrong, and it might be under the age of 25 or lower. But Riley Green has the 3rd most extra base hits in Tiger history before the All-Star break right now. Could be for players under 25. Or just in general, either one of those stats is very impressive. This is the one guy, the one kid out of this group of prospects that we've been salivating over. Colt Keith, bunch of other guys, Torque, they haven't paid off the way that we expected them to. Riley Green's finally putting it together. And this is, on the offensive side for the Tigers, the jewel of their young prospect players.
He hit the first 3 at-bats he had last night were outs, but all 3 balls were scorched off the bat.
Hard hit, The
center fielder for the Guardians robbed them 410 feet from home plate. Hit it to the deepest part of the park. The other one was down right field line. Just missed getting like a triple out of it. Then he gets a double, hits the line. they look at it, the umpires look at it and decide it's a foul ball.
Yeah.
And then later he just grounded out. But you look at it, the chalk bounced up. What happens when it hits the chalk? That's a hit.
That's a hit.
100%.
They 100%. Overruled it.
The ball print did look like it was just outside the line. I think it was the right call, but to your point, normally that's a hit.
He could have had a great night last night. Instead, he goes 0 for 4.
Yeah.
But that's a great 0 for 4 that he had.
It is. It's one of those 0 for 4s where you go back and play the tape, and just the feel is there. You're just missing very small. And you're not going to miss in every part. Some parts that's going to be a home run.
He's the only guy hitting.
100%.
He is the only guy hitting.
I asked the question, and I'll give you my answer. He definitely deserves this All-Star for the stats that you named, but also, too, if you look at the consistency of the hitting, his hitting has been very good this year, and you look at him right now, if you cut his stats in half, if you take his stats and you double them, you're talking about the best stats that the Tigers have, and actually the best stats the Tigers have for a very long time. So I appreciate him getting a shot, and we'll see what he does in the second half of the season that time.
Looking for him, rooting for him, man.
Going to be a hell of a show today. We got my man Greg Kesler. Uncle Greg will come on, talk about his basketball camp, 3 camps. He'll give you the dates. He'll give you the times. He'll tell you the ages as well. Also, I want to talk to him about the Pistons and want to talk a little bit about Team USA. In fact, let's do a little bit of that now before Mr. Kesler comes on. Anson, you're excited to talk about Team USA. And I got a question, man. I got a Lions question that I want to pose. I'm thinking about the question. I'll tease it. I'm going to ask it, and we're going to answer it in the second hour. Do they need to make a move if they're really serious about the Super Bowl? Do they need to make a move if they're truly serious about the Super Bowl? We'll come back to that. But Team USA, this is a big Olympics for this Team USA. Before I get you started, we're talking about the foreigners run the game of basketball as it's played right now. I think the last 5 MVPs have all been foreign players, most notably
Luka. Or not Luka. Who was it this year? Yeah, it was Luka this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Luka.
Yeah,
Luka won this year, 5 in a row. As you look at Team USA, appreciate that, Pete. Heck of a team, barely beat the college/high school team yesterday, but they beat them by 1 point, 75-74. This is an important Olympics for Team USA. Hear me out. With the verge of the world knowing the basketball is now in the hands of players like Victor Wembanyama, players like Luka, players like Giannis, starting to take some shine away from Team USA. If Team USA, who has injuries, you look at Kevin Durant has a calf injury. Kawhi Leonard didn't play the playoffs because he was injured. Joel Embiid didn't play the playoffs because he was injured. What if they go in there and somehow loses? Is USA in trouble with that, Anson? I'll let you take over.
I would say that they'd be in trouble. This isn't a team that lost to Canada, who's got a hell of a squad, or France, who's got a hell of a squad. They lost to Germany.
Yeah.
And that's an embarrassment. This is a game that the U.S. should never lose. Not in the World Cup every 4 years or in the Olympics every 4 years. Now, when you look at this team, there's 12 guys on this team, and you can put this team up against anybody. Now, I'm not going to.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. Right, I know what's coming next.
It's a huge year. What we've heard out of Gilbert Arenas talking about how the NBA is really catering to the Euro style. We're only going to see more of that, as you referenced that the last 5 MVPs are foreign born. This is kind of that tipping point right now. If we can't take it, the entire reputation of basketball and where it sits in the U.S. will be forever damaged. Forever damaged.
And Tom Masway, when you look at this team, obviously I'm trying to hype it up.
Yeah.
The guys will be okay. They wouldn't play if they wouldn't. USA wouldn't clear these guys because there are guys in the wings that can help. When you look at this team, this is the comparison. Whenever you bring up a USA team, you always start to go back. Well, the dream team, well, the redeemed team. When you see this team, how does it stack up against the redeemed team and then also the dream team?
Well, the dream team is, to me, unbeatable.
They're unbeatable.
Unbeatable. They're on their own. On their own platform.
Because it's prime. Because we're looking at each player, particularly in his prime.
Yeah.
So you got around prime Larry Bird and Jordan together, like suicide.
If you want to do the redeemed team against this team, I still might take the redeemed team over this team. I might. But there's no way in hell that this team is going to lose. Let's get to the point. They'll average 15-point wins minimum. 15 to 20-point wins.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. This is the only reason why I disagree, man. Like Anson said, he alluded to it. NBA's kind of turned to the Euro game a little bit more. The Euros do it the best.
I know
and now
that.
we're playing against them. You're telling me playing against guys.
But we got better athletes.
They've been playing. Well, the athlete, the comparison on the scale of athlete is getting better.
Yeah.
It's no longer the same guys you're looking at when guys were playing in 92 and 96 and then against stuff. The athletes are getting better. The game is getting better. They're growing and more. Don't act like the Redeem team didn't almost lose to Spain.
Right. And the Euros play together longer.
They've been playing together since 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old.
The chemistry already there. You know?
And that's the word. It's the chemistry. Whenever a USA team loses, that chemistry, KG, expound on that. That's a large part of it.
No, it's a big factor, and that's why we've seen some blunders in the past before, especially with a younger roster. Now, with these guys, they're more veteran-led, so I do have more belief that, hey, they've been there, they've done this before, they'll be able to turn it on just like that. But if they don't come out the gates, man, it's going to be long. The Euro game is catching up. Make no mistake about it.
Did you guys, well, you mentioned the team that they beat was a high school going into college.
Cooper Flag, baby.
Right.
Cooper
and you know,
Flag.
they could probably run him off the floor if they really tried. But this Cooper Flag, and I know it's being another guy that Anson's going to hate because he's going to go to Duke. Let's run some video on what Cooper Flag does.
Yeah, no, he's
Look at this kid.
Guys, I've been talking about
This
Cooper
kid's 17.
Flag for a year.
He's 17.
He is the next Chet, but with a better body. Maybe not as tall, but the things that he can do defensively and offensively, Cooper Flag's the next. I mean, he is absolutely the next.
Yeah, he may make me want to turn on Duke basketball in a positive way, but hey, you're right about Team USA. They'll turn it on. They were easing into the game. They were having a fun time. Nobody wanted to get hurt. You saw AD turn it up at the end when he needed to. Anson, who are you most excited to see? Because this is a farewell of sorts. Yeah. You know, you look at this USA team, and Maz, you hit the nail on the head last week when we were talking about Klay Thompson leaving. Yeah. You got to bring it back because it's the end of an era. When you look at this will be LeBron James' last USA. This would be Steph's last USA. This would be KD's last. And this is the last time Kawhi that we get a chance to see them play together. See them roll out together. What are you most looking forward to, or who are you most looking forward to watching?
Honestly, it's the new blood. I can't wait to watch Ant-Man. I can't wait to see how much usage he gets. This is a guy that you could easily see play 12 minutes a game. But at the same time, this is a guy that you could really see in the battle in those last 5 minutes. I think they love the idea of having LeBron and him running the backcourt.
Tom Mazaway, what and who are you more excited? And I can guess yours.
Listen to me. I'm a hater.
Thanks for admitting that.
Listen,
it's got to be it's LeBron hate.
I'm sorry. I'll probably root for them to lose. Okay, I'll be honest with you.
It's your country, man.
I'm sorry. I don't care.
Wow.
I don't care.
That's unpatriotic.
I'm sorry.
Everyone mad at me for still saying the 3-letter words when I talk about the Lions. You heard what our man there just said.
Man.
He doesn't just want. He wants a whole country to lose.
Domestic terror.
The whole country.
Domestic terror.
I swear. I'm sorry. I really am sorry.
Hey,
I'm not rooting for them. I'm sorry.
From within.
Damn, man.
I'm not rooting for them.
Why? What player?
Take a guess.
What player do you want to see lose the most aside from LeBron?
I want to see him lose so bad. I just can't stand him.
You like Jordan in 92. You like Jordan 92. You'd have kept LeBron off the dream team. You'd have kept LeBron off this dream team. Maz here. I'm
sticking with it, man, all the way. I'm sorry.
I'm going to help you out, man.
Being honest.
So I'm acting like you weren't unpatriotic just now because I know you are. I know you're excited to see Steph shoot those threes with the shorter distance ranges. You see him in practice warming up at that 22. Is it 22.6 versus 23.9?
They should make a 4-point shot.
Like he was yawning. And it's just net and net and net and KD net and net and net. If anything, if your 15 or more is right, it'll be because of shooting.
Oh my God!
Now, that's one thing that the outside world hasn't caught up on. They made the style, the pace, the team, the chemistry, the bonding, the pick and rolls. They can't shoot like that yet.
No way, man.
And I think that's what
I'm so looking forward. And I'm busting chops here. But it is what it is.
All over Europe and the world, they have some great shooters. The problem is that the majority of those shooters don't pose a risk of going to the basket. So what you deal with when you're dealing with guys like KD, like Curry, and the rest, these are guys you have to honor, and you can't just completely close out on the expected shot because you know they can go to the hole. This whole situation, I mean, I don't know if we're going there yet, but we can break down the differences with Team France and Team Canada, the two teams that pose the biggest risk to the U.S., as well as, of course, you know, the Joker-led squad from the Eastern Bloc, but
Serbia.
The difference with France is this is one of the best defensive teams that you could put into the NBA.
Yeah, this is true.
You have Wemby and Gobert. But
Don't forget about the first pick this year.
Yeah, Ricochet won't be playing though, but Detroit Pistons own Evan Fournier will be there, and as well Nick Batum.
He got into a little issue.
Yeah,
he and was it Dennis Schroeder?
Schroeder, yeah, he choked him.
And then, but this was the weird part about that. So Fournier looked like he snapped a little bit. It looked like he was aggressive. He snapped a little bit.
He's a Piston. He was a Piston.
He played for New York as well.
100%. So snapped a little bit.
He's gone through hell, man.
But then Schroeder and he come back to convene like adults. And I was like, okay, look, that's the NBA love. They're adults. They came back, and then it got worse.
I saw that too.
Fournier wasn't here for it.
He ain't for the game.
He was not for the games. I got to give him some love.
But yeah, the interesting thing is France is going to be able to play great defense, whereas Canada is a much smaller team. It's a long list of NBA players. Your boy, our boy, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jamal Murray, champion, RJ Barrett, Dylan Brooks, who's just always a menace. He'll be great on the Olympic stage. Lunguts Dort, and then Nickeil Alexander-Walker. There's a lot of guys that can score. They don't have the interior presence. Both of these teams are going to create completely different problems for Team USA. I don't know if we can run that graphic I sent you about the Team USA, but man, it gets my hair going on the back of my neck because I do love USA basketball. This is the one time a year I like LeBron. Again, I'll reference it again. I can't wait to see all these different players like LeBron, like Curry, play with Ant-Man and some of these younger guys, Halliburton, without joking around like it's an all-star game. These guys have a job, and they are coming to accomplish it.
Yeah,
I think when you see it, I'm excited also, too. I think it's the Ant-Man. This is the 92 passing of the torch. This is when Bird, this is when Magic, they had the practices, they had the scrimmages. I mean, you've heard all the impressions, all the jokes about Magic, and he was talking about, look, we knew. We looked at each other and said, he's next, he's man up. And I think that's what you're going to see with Ant-Man. You saw LeBron. Who's LeBron hugging in the picture? Who's LeBron been hanging around? He's been hanging around Ant-Man.
Yeah.
You know who LeBron is hanging around is the guy. And also, too, these guys they don't want to get hurt. Yeah. So if you got a guy that can expend that type of energy, but also that can be trusted on the court, this is going to be very 92-ish in terms of here it is. Obviously, the difference is Mike came off a title.
I like that. Seeing what we saw in the conference finals out of Ant-Man and just leaving it all out there, they're gonna. I know he's the young guy on the team, but they're gonna have a hard time keeping him sitting.
It's gonna be fun, Tom Maswell. I can't wait to get that started.
He can wait. Look at that face. Look at that face on him right now. He's not excited at all.
He's got. You know what? He'll be excited once he starts seeing stuff. Once you start
rooting against the women
too.
Put that out there.
Mass Hussein over here.
Oh, I'm rooting against him without Caitlin.
Because there's no Caitlin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. You guys are the worst. Speaking of basketball.
Saddam Mazaway.
There was a deal happening with the Detroit Pistons. Malik Beasley, 1-year deal. They bring him in, another shooter, a guy that can shoot the ball. We talked about it yesterday. It seems as though, and it doesn't seem, it is, Trajan Langdon is coming in with a plan. He's coming in with a plan, and he's providing it. It looks like stability. Looks like he's bringing some older guys in that can shoot, some veterans, some Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley and such, so that you can give those younger guys, some guys that have been around, seen the things, know the conversations, know the work that you have to put in. Just what do you think about the moves made right now by Trajan Langdon?
I'm going to circle back to a comment I made last week.
Yep.
And comparing this to what Brad Campbell did, or excuse me, Brad Holmes. I did.
They
Dan
are one
Campbell
person.
Dad Holmes last week. So when they started this project here in Detroit for the Lions, they didn't sign anybody to a 4-year deal. The first 4-year deal that regime signed anybody to was the big three when they extended Amon-Ra and Panay.
Okay.
They were a desperate team that didn't make stupid mistakes. They didn't do desperate things. And that's what I'm seeing right now out of Trajan. Given a very nice, clean situation, lots of cap room, high pick, young core. But Pistons fans are screaming, go out and spend some money. Go and get anybody you can and bring them in here for 4 years. They didn't do that.
Right.
They went and they got Tobias Harris on a 2-year deal. He will not finish that deal in Detroit. He will be fantastic for a year and a half, playing next to all these young guys, mentoring, hitting outside shots. Now you bring in this guy, and Beasley is only in for 1 year at $6 million. Now, this is a guy at the beginning of free agency that Pistons fans signed him 3 years, 4 years. Guys probably in Detroit would have been happy to give him $20 million.
Yeah.
This guy will not be on the roster come April. Yeah. He will be traded as well. But what he can do in pure minutes, allowing Ivy to come off of the bench, being a spot-up shooter, but also a guy that can slash the basket. Don't be surprised when this kid scores 18 points a game and then gets moved at the deadline. This is a fantastic deal, again, for a desperate team who is right there, ready to make stupid moves. They're going to hamstring them for years, and he hasn't done that. He's putting a stamp on this team, and it's a very conservative and smart stamp so far.
The Bulls want to give Zach LaVine away. Would you give up 2 number ones to get him?
You mean get 2 number ones to get him?
No, give.
No, that's not the deal. We would be getting at least 1 first round.
So you would just eat his contract.
I wouldn't give up any draft picks.
So you would just take his contract.
Yeah, for sure.
There is no way they can demand 2 number ones from us. They're trying to unload that contract.
I'd rather do the LaMelo Ball or Lonzo Ball deal, because Zach LaVine's on the books for 3 years. Now, if that guy can come back and play a full healthy season, and then you can maybe move him or something, what he does for this team, we'd be a better team with him. But his contract's just so large, and it is 3 years. The Ball deal for me, if we can get a first-round pick out of that and have him for 1 year, not even play, I'm down with that.
Let me ask something before we got Greg Kesler. We should be coming up within the next 5 minutes or so. Time as away. They haven't made the big boisterous move like he did with Monty Williams. They haven't spent and wasted the money in the cap. Would it be okay, or would you be okay if they did go and make some kind of splash, maybe like a Lauri Markkanen or maybe like a Brandon Ingram? Now that you see some pieces in play and you know that you can have a much better season with these guys versus bringing these guys into nothing, would you be okay with that, or do you like where we're at now and you're going to see what the talent is?
Hey, I'm up for any player that they bring over right now or any deal they make. I'm believing what Trajan Lang's got going.
Okay.
I think that we finally got a guy that knows what the hell he's doing. We have a coach that wants to be here, that knows how to coach a young team, and you added the veterans. I like this team. Yeah. Like I said yesterday, I think this is the best team on paper in the last 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely.
At least, for sure, the last 3 years.
Agreed.
That's for sure.
Same thing, Anson. You know, you have an opportunity, because I know Markkanen is being shopped around. Ingram's still being shopped around a little bit. Are these 2 players that, based on what you're doing, you would bring in, or like Tom Mazaway said, kind of like you alluded to, you like where they are now, you want to see these guys operate with these young guys?
I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff online talking about Duren, Ivy, and a first. That's not a move that I'm making. When you look at the Pistons' salary, you've got guys that are all tiered. And why that's important is because of the way that trades work with this new collective bargaining agreement. We have guys basically at every level that we can move this year. Right now, I think Trajan's probably trying to get a deal done. I don't know if it's a major blockbuster. I think what you're going to see out of the Pistons in the next 2 years is one major deal at least. But I don't think that it's there yet. Yeah. Throughout the rest of the season, you're going to see guys not happy with their teams. You're going to see guys that are nearing the end of their contracts. And you're going to see the Pistons much bigger players at the trade deadline this season as well as next offseason. Listen, Pistons fans want to see a lot done right now.
Yeah.
But again, this is a desperate team that's making smart moves right now. Mm-hmm. As much as we want to see this splash trade, I think that Trajan is more interested in seeing what Ivy can do and what Duren can do with a real roster with some real veterans around them. At this point, to jettison some of these young guys that have only been here for 1 or 2 years might be a bit premature. We're set up really nice to make deals. We've got really high draft picks, at least for the next 2 years in our future. Yeah. So for me, I think it's a sit and wait, just hold and let something present itself as we go through this next season.
I like it. You're very profound when it comes to the Pistons. Very profound when it comes to those Detroit Pistons, man.
It's deep in my veins, baby.
Matt, last thing I was going to say beforehand, do you think some of because I know we got Greg Kesler on the line.
Yep.
Do you think some of the patience, the impatience of the Detroit fan base is just when you have the Red Wings, then you have the Tigers, And then you have the Pistons. Each franchise gets a little of the other franchises, like impatient fans.
I'm afraid so. I mean, people in Chicago are complaining that they're in a rut right now. And you think about it. The Bulls really haven't done a hell of a lot. The Blackhawks, Stanley Cup years and years ago. The Bears, 85. And finally, what team am I missing? Chicago.
Cubs?
Bears.
Cubs. And the White Sox.
Well, Cubs won World Series in 6.
I know.
Almost 10 years ago.
I know.
I think you could
they're
use
a lot,
the White Sox
but
as a
they're
good example right now.
No, better than 100. But yeah.
But they're complaining.
Yeah.
The Chicago people are complaining. I just want to say, hey, guys, take a look at us here, man. Take a look at us here. But we had our run, and we're going to start our run again real soon.
All right, we'll start our run again. And first, we'll start a commercial break, and then we'll get to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Michigan State Spartan Greg Kesler. But first, let me give you a little message about Les Stanford.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
And let's drive on over to Premier Pet Supply. It's hands down Michigan's best pet store, family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, nutritionists on call, and of course, they've got curbside delivery. Give them a try. Give your pet the best. Don't settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Guys, next guest needs no introduction at all, but we'll give you one anyway. He is analyst with the Detroit Pistons for years. He is a former first-round pick in the NBA, and he is a Spartan dog, just like Anson Wells,
yes,
national champ. I bring in my Greg Kesler. Greg Kesler, how you doing?
What's up, Greg?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well, man.
I don't know if I've ever said this, but Braylon, you would have been a hell of a Spartan. You know that?
Amen.
You know, it's funny. Michigan State was the first major institution to offer me a scholarship, man. You know, I kind of was like, hey, look, the hell with Michigan. They don't want to recruit me. They don't see what I see. So, you know, I was seconds away from being on the other side of rest in peace Charles Rogers, but you know, I don't know what Lloyd and my dad had, but they made something happen. I got a scholarship, and here we are years later.
Well, hey, no doubt, you made a great decision. It all worked out, but I'm just saying.
I do like the color, and years later I would play for the Jets. So at some point I did wear green and white. So there it is. Before we get to talking about the Pistons and the draft and the moves that Trajan Langdon has made, a little bit of Team USA for some fun, I want to talk about your camps. I got the dates right here, and you're having a camp. GregKesler.com is where you can go find all the information about the camps. But July 15th through the 19th, it's at West Bloomfield High School.
Gregory Kelser.
Gregory Kelser.
GregoryKelser.com.
My apologies.
We got you, Greg.
July 22nd through the 26th at UWM Sports Complex and at Southfield A&T High School Boys 7-17. One of the big questions about these camps when you're doing, what's the overall goal for you when you're hosting these camps, Greg?
The overall goal is to make sure the boys and girls that attend have a great time, that they have fun, that it's memorable. We're hopeful that they'll make great friends, and that these friendships can last for many, many years. We speak about that. Obviously they're there to enhance and grow their basketball skills, the experience. But we feel that it's important that we as coaches and as adults make sure that these youngsters take more than just basketball away. So we talk about education a great deal every day. We talk about respect for each other and how to be the best students that they can possibly be, because we all know that even if you're fortunate enough to go on and play professional basketball, that there will come a time and you've got to be able to do something else, step aside. You won't be able to play it forever. And your education is probably going to be the thing that gives you the best opportunity. That's your basis. That's your root. That's your foundation.
Yeah.
That education. So we talk about those things at the basketball camp. And when it comes to friendships, Braylon, Earl Curitan, who has been a part of my camp since they first started back in 1978, we tragically lost him unexpectedly this year. We're dedicating this summer's camps to Earl. But Earl and I used to tell the kids all the time, we were 15 years old when we met for the very first time in a gym on a basketball court. A friendship started right there. The commonality was the basketball, the love of the game. And that friendship endured for 51 years until Earl, we lost him back in February. So these are a lot of the things that we, talk about and hope to achieve at the basketball camps.
Rest in peace to Earl Curitan, who was a legend on and off the basketball court.
Earl the Twirl.
You talked about speaking. You talked about the messages that you give them, the people that come speaking, like Earl back in the day. I remember when Jerome Bettis did his camp, which he took over for Pepper Johnson, who took over for Reggie McKenzie. You remember those same circles. Sitting in there and listening to those outbreak sessions, sitting and listening to those messages, I think a lot of it, and what I was able to use in life, was instilled in those moments. What type of guest speakers do you have coming to speak to the kids? Because sometimes they need a lot of different voices.
Well, it's funny. Over the years, I've had a great number of guest speakers. We've had Urban Magic Johnson. We've had Joe Dumars. We've had Grant Hill.
Oh.
All of these guys have presented at my camps. But let me just say this. Nowadays, because of busy schedules, Braylon, we don't advertise anybody coming. If they come, if they're in town, we invite them to stop in. So it's always a surprise as to who the kids might see from the athletic world. However, we have people coming in from all walks of life. We have doctors coming in. Remember the unrest of 2019 and 20?
100%.
When we had some policemen come in and talk to the kids and let them see them in uniform and feel more comfortable in their presence, to let them know that, all policemen aren't bad. Many are here to protect and serve, and we shouldn't fear any of them. We try to capture what's happening in our time and go after that and address that. And that's part of the many things that we feel set our camps, a little aside from some of the others.
I like that. That's a smart approach. Don't just put what the sport is they come to play in front of their face. Put a little bit of everything in their face and give them options to choose. So I appreciate that. Once again, if you want to attend, if you want your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew to attend a camp, it's GregoryKesler.com. That's where you get all the details for the basketball camps. And there are three separate camps on 2 separate weeks. Talking about Trajan Langdon is what we're doing in the first segment of the show. Kind of talking about the direction of the Detroit Pistons and what he's been able to do. And I think the word that we've kind of come to establish is that plan. It seems that Trajan Langdon has come in here with the plan, whether it's the people that he's hiring, the draft picks that he's making, and the way in which he's picking specific players. How are you with Trajan Langdon's first couple of moves as a president of the Detroit Pistons?
Well, I think he's come in and he's recognized that the team needs scoring. It needs veteran leadership, guys that have been around, been through through the rigors of a professional basketball season again and again and again. And he's done that. I mean, I thought that back some years ago when Tobias Harris left the Pistons, he was their best player. He was right there on the cusp of all-star status. I still think he's a very good player. He averaged 17 points a game last year on a good basketball team. He'll come in and I think he'll provide an excellent aid to Cade Cunningham, who's still going to be the leader of this team and will have the ball the most. But, what an option to be able to give it to a guy like Tobias Harris, who can score inside and outside. Your former Michigan Wolverine buddy, Tim Hardaway Jr., great shooter.
100%.
Yeah, scored 14 points a game last year. Could probably have scored even more. I know he feels that way, but he was kind of locked into a system in Dallas where, the ball gets monopolized by one or two players. So, a guy like that finds himself standing in the corner, not touching the basketball for 4 or 5 possessions. So I think it's got to be really pleasing to have a new situation and a new philosophy to play out of, and maybe hopefully better utilize his skills. And Malik Beasley, again, here's a guy who's played in a winning situation in Milwaukee. All of these guys are going to bring experience. They're going to bring know-how. And, Trajan's off and running. There's no question about it. He seems very committed to what he has to do.
Greg Kesler joins us today. Detroit Pistons, of course, on Bally Sports. We're with good old George. All these years, you and George Blaha. We hope that it continues. We hope to look for a good season here coming up here, Greg. How about the coaching change for Monty Williams now to J.B. Bickerstaff? What do you know about J.B.?
I know that he's put his time in. I know that JB is proven, and he's had success in the league. He knows what it takes to get a team from point A to, the next step or the next step. He proved that in Cleveland. When he got Cleveland, they were not that far from what the Pistons are dealing with now. Young guys, having to introduce them to winning and how to win. And I thought that Cleveland had a good season last year. He got them into the playoffs, the second round. They lose to Boston. Boston wins it all. And keep in mind, Cleveland was without some key people. Jared Allen in the middle didn't play. Donovan Mitchell was hurt. They exceeded expectations in the minds of a lot of people, given the adversity that they had at that stage of the season in the playoffs. He is a good coach. And I was real happy to see him get this opportunity.
Me too.
I think he's earned it. And he should be able to come in and hit the ground running because he's done it before. He knows what it requires. And hopefully he'll have some really, really good players to work with.
Cade Cunningham got his deal today, official $224 million extension to get up to $269 million. I think the kid has earned it. He has been here through a lot of hard times. That's all he has seen here as a Detroit Pistons. What do you look for in the growth of Cade Cunningham?
First of all, I think Cade is an incredible player. I think that he has the ability to be an all-star. He's got to stay healthy. And with better players around him, I think it's only going to enhance his game even more. The one thing that he has to do better, and he would agree with this, is that he's got to take better care of the ball because he has it so much. He's got to be able to recognize when teams are blitzing him because they're going to do it. He's that good, and it's hard to stop him one-on-one. But when that happens, he's got to be able to complete the pass. That pass can't be deflected or intercepted. It has to be completed, bring his turnover number down to, I would say, no more than 2 a game. I'm so glad that he loves Detroit, number one, and that he has taken ownership in this franchise's future. It would have been very easy to maybe say, I want to go someplace else. But the fact that he loves it here and he wants to change and turn the fortunes around, and if it does happen, he will certainly be the biggest catalyst in my mind. But I will say this, getting that kind of money, and we see some of the other money that these guys are signing for, very happy for him, but Braylon would probably agree. Wouldn't it be nice to be a professional athlete nowadays? Woo!
Man, I'm trying to tell you, I'm looking at wide receivers that don't even deserve 20 making 25. Mm-hmm. So, but you know what? There's no hate. There's no hate. We had to crawl so that they can walk.
Well, here's the thing. When I came out, 40-some years ago, the money that we got was better than the money that people 10 years prior. They were saying what we're saying now.
Yeah.
Nice. And, you got way more than the people, when you played, Braylon, you got way more than the people that I played with. And it's just moving, again, in the right direction. I'm glad to see the players being able to, benefit and reap some of the rewards of all the money that's been made available.
I like that they're creating generational wealth and they're kind of allowing them the ability to take care of their money as well. So that part I definitely love.
Mr. Kesler, Anson here, MSU class of 01. It's fantastic to be talking to you.
The heckler. You can't leave that part out.
That's where I'm going right now. In fact, I believe it was in 2003 you contributed to my lore as a Detroit heckler. You circled me on the telestrator and said, this kid's 120 pounds soaking wet, but boy, he's giving the opposition hell. And I got calls from my people at Michigan State and all around Detroit. They're like, man, Kesler's circling you, talking about you right now. So I got to tip my hat to you for that. I have a question about 1979. You guys got a cakewalk in the semis against Penn. I want to know, you knew you were either going to see Larry Bird or Mark Aguirre in DePaul. Did you guys have a preference coming out of that win over Penn going into the finals in 1979 of who you wanted to play?
Well, let me just back up for a minute and tell you about Penn. It turned out to be a game won handily, but we didn't look at it that way going in. The semifinal game in Salt Lake City against the University of Pennsylvania. We lost 3 non-conference games my last 2 years at Michigan State. One was to Syracuse, at Syracuse. One was at North Carolina, and the other one was in the regional final the year prior to us winning it to Kentucky. So that's Syracuse, North Carolina, and Kentucky. St. John's in that very tournament, Penn, University of Penn, in that very tournament, they beat Syracuse and they beat North Carolina.
Ooh. Oh.
So we were not looking past them at all. We took them as if, they are a threat to what we're trying to do, and that's win a championship. We were ready as we possibly could be, and the game turned out to be a blowout. But they were a good basketball team, just caught us on a bad day, or we caught them on a good day. But as far as Indiana State and DePaul, I think we, being the youngsters that we were at that time,
wanted Bird.
We thought DePaul might be better. We thought they might be the better team, even though Indiana State was undefeated. We were watching them, anticipating that they would win that game, and that's who we would be playing. But as it turned out, Larry Bird showed off with 36 points on 16 of 19 shooting.
Wow.
They win by 2. Now we got to play Indiana State and try to wreck their undefeated season. One more win and they finish it out. Thankfully, again, we were on our game. We shot over 60% from the floor. We held them to, one of their worst shooting nights, including Larry Bird. He took 21 shots to make 19 points. He was the best player we had to guard all year long, even with those numbers. And we're very fortunate and thankful that we were able to win that game, and we won that game by 11 points. It was our closest game of the 5 games we won in the tournament.
Well, thank you on the behalf of Spartan Nation for our very first NCAA championship.
You're very welcome.
My man, go green.
Man, what you guys knocking off?
Right. Come on with all that.
Hey, KG.
But, hey, Greg, KG in the sound booth. It's an honor to speak with you, and I think we'll see you Thursday on Wake Up Woodward, actually. But I wanted to ask you about Pistons rookie Ron Holland. Now, a lot of people thought that the Pistons might trade that pick, myself included, and they ended up landing on Ron Holland. We know his game. He has a very, very all-around game, but the problem that he has is shooting, which is also probably the biggest problem on the Pistons. So what do you think about the Pistons drafting Ron Holland, and what are your expectations of him going forward?
Well, initially, one could have easily have been really concerned about the lack of shooting part of his equation. But since you've just gone out and you've got 3 guys that can fill it up, you don't worry so much about his own individual lack of shooting, because he can work on that. He can learn that. But what he brings is toughness, and it sounds a lot like Asar Thompson, who they got last year in the 5th spot. Tough, rugged. You can win games, and you can win championships, I think, with players like Asar Thompson. And if this young man is cut out of that mold, then you'll be okay. Basketball, as we know, is a team game. It takes a lot of pieces, and it takes a lot of different roles to be played in order to get there, in order to be consistent. So he brings some good qualities to the table, and his shooting, the shooting part of it, I do anticipate will improve.
Greg, I wanted to ask you about your take on the whole Bronny James being drafted by the Lakers. Of course, the agent telling all the teams, you better not draft this guy or he's going to go play in Australia. Obviously, he goes to the Lakers. He gets a guaranteed deal to play with them as the 55th pick, makes about $4 million. Not that he needed it because he made money in college. But he goes, it was just like a sideshow to me. I want your take on this whole thing.
I'll start by saying that if he were not LeBron James' son, then it would have been very difficult for any of that to happen. I mean, we know that, okay? But here is the thing. We're talking about LeBron James. We're talking about one of the best players to ever play the game and what he has given to the game for 2 decades. Is he in a position of power? Absolutely. And, did he wield his power? Did he take advantage of, what he had at his disposal to make it happen for his son? Yes, he did. I have no problem with that.
It's been going on for a very long time.
The king.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if Bronny James is unable to compete at that level, we'll all know. Yeah. We'll all know. He's a project just like so many other projects. It's just that he's a project that, only averaged 4 points a game, has had some health issues, so on and so forth. So it gets frowned upon. It gets frowned upon big time because we know that LeBron had a big hand in it. But yeah. I am not upset about it at all. In fact, I'm pulling for Bronny James. I hope he does really well.
100% nepotism has existed for a very long time, so it's finally glad that somebody pulled the trigger and reversed it. Less political question, and then we'll let you get out of here. Team USA, they started practicing this week, or the Avengers, as they have been
politics there,
dubbed. This is a great squad. You look at them, you look at the champion. And how many rings do you see in this picture? What will be Team USA's biggest challenge this USA basketball season?
Probably the same as teams in the past: rebounding, bulk, size, physicality. But I think they can overcome all of that. It's a very talented roster, and if they can get the games at the pace that they enjoy and that they like, then that's going to bode really well for them. You got a bunch of guys who are wearing the USA uniform, and they're not going to be the one. They're not going to want to be the ones to be looked upon in years down the road as failing to get the job done. So I'm sure they'll all check their egos, and as you have to do when you're on a basketball team.
Yeah.
And the top priority will be winning and figuring out what you need to do on a game by game basis to be successful. I think they'll be fine.
I definitely think they'll be fine as well. LeBron James is part of that team that lost, and then the redeemed team. I think he's got more than enough experience to lead this team. We appreciate you, man. Always coming on the show. Always good to see you on. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, GregoryKesler.com. You get all the information about the basketball camp. And it's just not basketball. It's life lessons as well. We appreciate you always.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Go green.
Okay, Brad. All right, guys. Hey, always enjoy. Keep doing the great work you're doing.
Thanks,
appreciate
man. Back at you.
Okay.
Talk to you. Bally Sports own Greg Kesler, Bally Sports Detroit, that is. Always fun to talk to him. Always
He's such
very,
a gentleman.
very intelligent.
He's a legend.
And we always
Michigan
get
legend.
another story surrounding that 1979 team that
I
we
love
think.
that.
Remember the last time that we talked to him, he talked about the picture that they took, on the Corvette, and they say, yo, like when we make it, we want to buy these cars, sit on them, and they took the pictures, and then they got published in the magazine. So now we get another story, and that is that Penn team was, they were indeed legit.
Yeah. Still the most watched NCAA game in history. Somebody dropped that in the chat. I should give him some love. I think that's Rich Baldwin.
Do you know what number 2 is?
No.
And I'm going off the top.
Fab 5?
I want to say it was the one in the timeout. It's either that or it's.
Well, that was 93.
It's 90. That's 90. Now the shot.
Let's let the chat answer that for us. And chat also, if you guys could throw some likes down. Let's get to 100 likes today. But we want to know. Give us a number 2 and 3, maybe even the top 5 most watched men's game in NCAA history.
Before we go to the end of the hour, let's keep this thing rolling, man. For the last 6 minutes, he talked about the Pistons. He talked about what he saw, and what he liked. And he was kind of on par with along the lines of what you were saying, what we've all been saying. It seems like there's a plan in place. They're making the right adjustment. Tracy Laney, man, he's a force to be reckoned with, man. I'm not downing him, Brad Holmes yet, But it just seems like that professionalism goes a long way. And I think that's what the Pistons organization has been lacking for a very long time. It's that professionalism that you feel the good organizations do have.
And it got past me. I didn't realize that we had signed Simone Fontecchio over the weekend.
Yeah, we did. $16 million. It's barely counting against the cap.
Fantastic. That's a huge move. And again, you're talking about a 2-year deal for an outside shooter that'll be super tradable. But at the same point, the product that the Pistons are putting out here, as Maz said, this is the best roster I believe that we've seen in at least 5 years.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
And they just had to get out of their own way. I think a lot of that is ownership finally taking accountability for the mistakes they made in the past and stepping aside and letting Trajan run the basketball operations. Now, we know Arn Tellem is still around, you know, in a phantom sense, but I don't think he's got his hand in a lot of the moves Trajan has made so far. And that's what I have confidence in. I feel like this is Trajan's show, win, lose, or draw.
I think what a lot of people were waiting for, because it seemed like to be the only way, is men have huge egos. Nobody has bigger egos than billionaires. How do you harm billionaires' egos? Is if they fail, if they see people talking about them in the negative light. And it was only a matter of time before a billionaire and Tom Gores, you can't keep dogging someone out. You can't keep making mistakes and keep failing publicly like that, because as you fail with this, your other businesses fail too. So I think now he knows, step out of the way. And that's what he's done. At least it seems that way. So I like it.
I'm looking at the roster right now, and Wendell Moore, who to me is our worst player now, probably would have been our 8th man last year.
Probably.
Roster's heads and tails better than it was
Ladies
last
and gentlemen, the great P. Spivak has something. What's up, P?
I appreciate. Thanks, Bray. I found to answer your question there, Anson. I found the number 2 rated game. Let's see if you guys can guess. I'm not going to give a team or a year. Just it's in the 80s. Let's see if you guys can guess.
Oh,
this
is the national championship.
Yeah,
game?
national championship game. I believe. Yeah, this is the second highest rated one.
Is it the
Georgetown? Yeah. Georgetown, UNC.
Nope.
Is he?
How about Villanova winning?
Nope.
UNC Houston. I mean, what is it?
NC State in Houston, 83. Yes. The Jim Valvano game.
I'm surprised you didn't go that way.
I said Phi Slamma Jamma first thing.
Oh, did you? I didn't hear you, Tommy. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you, Tommy. Sorry.
That wasn't the game. Right. No, that was the
fan spoke.
It was Lorenzo Charles. That's the game.
Yep.
So who didn't play in that game? Played horrible that game. The best player for NC State.
I don't remember.
Their best. No, he played, but he played horrible. It was their best player, and then they did the documentary
Sleepy?
on 30 to 30.
Sleepy Floyd.
I'll look back. I'll
Sleepy
find
Floyd.
it.
Like they went looking for him. They couldn't find him. He was their best.
Wow.
You know, oh my God, we'll have to go to commercial break. But there's a player on that NC State team. He was the best player on that team, and he went. He went
AWOL.
Open battle. Thurl Bailey, Sidney Lowe.
Bailey.
There you go. One of the Jazz.
Thurl Bailey. There it is. Let's take a quick commercial break, pay some bills, and I think we're going to get a message from Planet Fitness, maybe.
KDK. Oh, yeah, you can do Planet Fitness. Go ahead, Bray.
Oh, hey, look, I can do Planet Fitness with 50-plus metropolitan Detroit locations. Planet Fitness is the gym for you. And guess what? Their fitness fits your bank account, man. Planet Fitness has it going on for you. Clean gyms, total body workouts, great people, and then there's no judgment when you come down to Planet Fitness and get in shape. Get in shape, feel good, feel great. The best place to do it is Planet Fitness, because your fitness is essential.
That's right. Also essential. Now more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss Insurance will make sure your carrier is not slipping in those extra fees. Call Market Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698, or visit SwissINS.com. We'll be right back, folks.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supplies has everything that your pet can dream of. And guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men, it's wicked awesome.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
You guys already know what awesome is. It's when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut.
Yeah.
Stick just got an amazing haircut in advance of his wedding. Spencer's getting an amazing haircut right now.
Braylon got twisted before the show.
That's Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Stop in, sit back, and relax and let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists take good care of you. Make you look and feel great. You guys can come right in here to the Birmingham location. There's locations all over the place. Come in and check us out here at Woodward. You can get your hair cut and take a peek at the show. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's. It's absolutely wicked awesome.
And if you're dreaming of a new home, but you're feeling a financial pinch, I'm with you. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right. I said $5,000, guys. Call Mark White and Associates today, 248-290-8242, or visit them online at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today, 248-290-8242. to make your dreams come true.
Why did I just now notice that Hawk 2 was up there?
Oh, yeah. You just noticed that? It's been up there for like 2 weeks almost.
very trending topic.
Yeah.
Nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to second hour of the show. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. My main man, Anson Wells, filling in. Michigan State's finest had a little brotherly love. Greg Kesler, also of Michigan State national champ in 79. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's get into some football. I alluded earlier that there's a question I wanted to ask and kind of ask. The Lions are serious about going to the Super Bowl. Is there a move they want to make? Last week, Matthew Judon, actual Michigan native, West Bloomfield High School, actually was rumored to be on the radar of the Detroit Lions. Doesn't seem like they can get things going over there with the Patriots in terms of his deal. He's a guy that's averaged around 10 sacks in the last 4 years and been tremendous, if you will. And also, he has the cleanest celebration in football, might I add.
That's facts.
Yeah, it's cold. I got to get a lot of credit. It's Detroit. Like we don't know how to not fail in that department, to succeed in that department. But when you look at the teams in the last couple years, Tom Mazaway, when you look at especially in the NFC, it seems as though even in the offseason, no matter how low the teams are, they're adding on to their roster for that last stretch of the season, for the playoffs, for the Super Bowl. I mean, you look at teams that do it during the season. Last year, one of the notable teams that did it was the very team that beat us. And it was a move that they made before the trade deadline. They pick up Chase Young. You look at 2 years ago, the Eagles. How many players did the Eagles add to that team, especially on the defensive line, once it got to December, once it got to January, just to ensure that they had a shot against Patrick Mahomes? Now, it didn't pay off for them. The Lions have made some good moves in the offseason. But one of the people still is that outside linebacker on the right side, the guy playing opposite. We keep talking about guys. Maybe it's Davenport, maybe Pascal, maybe it's going to be James Houston who'll be back this year. If the Lions are serious, though, don't you think they got to make that just that one move that you add where you're instantly like, right now we're hoping that the Detroit Lions have the roster. We're hoping that DJ Reader and Davenport and the moves work out. But don't you want to not have to hope? Don't you want to be in a position where like San Fran knows they're going to the Super Bowl, where the Eagles knew they were going to go to the Super Bowl? Do you have to make that move, Anson Wells? And
you're certainly not wrong in us probably being one player truly away. But all of those maybes that you brought up are the reason why I don't think that move comes right now.
Okay.
I just kind of talked about it with the Pistons. It's the same thing that we've seen with this Lions team over the last 3 years. Everybody, offseason after offseason and trade deadline after trade deadline, Lions fans were just screaming for that big move.
Yeah.
But last offseason, I felt like even though they had all kinds of money, the Lions still didn't exactly know what holes to fill because of so many different maybes. Now, we watched that team manifest a conference play or a conference championship run. So when I see this Lions team right now, those question marks, they're few and far between. Each year that these guys have been here, those question marks have gotten less and less. So right now with all those maybes, and I think the biggest maybe that we're forgetting is Jack Campbell. Even though he's not going to be on the edge, what Jack Campbell can do for the linebacking core can absolutely make the front defensive line even better. That having been said, I do believe, much like the Pistons mid-season this year, once that trade deadline comes, I think that they will absolutely be players and they'll have a much better idea of where that issue is. That issue is going to either lie on the defensive line, in the linebacking core, or in the secondary. I don't think that you'll see a move for an offensive player, but I think as the identity of this Super Bowl Lions team, and that's what we're calling it this year, is realized, that's when this regime will go and plug a hole.
Tom Mazaway, this is a team in which we know has made great moves in the offseason, or good moves in the offseason. Draft was really good yet again. But doesn't it just feel like you want that player? You see a player, you just see a fit. And this isn't the old days. This isn't the old days, man. We're coming here and we're like, every player that comes available, we're like, yeah, get that guy. Yeah, get that guy. Yeah, get him. Yeah, get him off the couch. Get this guy. This is a move that legitimately seems like it's worked. This is a position we've been screaming about ad nauseum for about the past 2 years. It's a guy that's from here. Things just don't seem like they can line up any better. There's a lot of money to spare. Yeah. What say you?
Hey, if he's a Lion guy, if he is a guy that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell can sit down and talk to and believe that he is a Lion guy, that means a guy that really loves football. And I think this guy does. I mean, I've been talking about him for years.
He's played for Harbaugh, followed by Belichick. It doesn't get any more serious than that.
I mean, he's a hell of a player, man. Yeah. What did he have, like 15 sacks last year?
4 last year because he got injured, but yes, 15-5 the year
guy
before.
Can play, and 12-5 man. We all know that. I personally don't think he gets out of New England, but if he does, and there's an opportunity to bring him here, hell, we wanted Brian Burns, right? It was too expensive for us. So what happened? The Giants go out and get him.
Yeah.
I believe in what these guys are doing. I'm not that fan anymore that wants to, like you said, go out and get every single person. We're right there, man. I think health aside, this team is almost perfect. Health aside, this team is almost perfect. And I'd say let's just ride it out. Let's see what it looks like at the trade deadline. If health is still good or you need a piece for depth, then maybe you look for something. Up till now, I say leave it just the way it is.
Yeah, I would agree with Maz because one, the capital that you make in that trade, that's going to be important. We know Brad Holmes isn't a guy to say F them picks in a sense, so he's not going to handicap the future just for a short-term move right now. So I really like what they've done, especially during this offseason. They've made it to where they're not desperate to make a move like this. If he chooses to do a move like that, he can make it, but you're looking at a guy that if you were to trade from him, you probably got to re-sign him as well. So, and then I don't know how that plays into you re-signing Aleem McNeil or somebody else off that defense. So, I mean, I would love to have Matt Judon on his team. He's a 14 to 15 sack guy, like Matt said. Even last year, he only played in 4 games, but he had 4 sacks. So 100%. That just shows you how impactful he is. But they're not handcuffed to make a move like that unless they absolutely want to.
They're not. Is it okay? And that's fair. And I like that. I like what the Lions are. It was a fair question to ask. Can I phrase it like this then? Can we make sure, Anson, that the Lions fully assess what this defensive line is, what this defense is going to be for the first 9 games of the season, however long it takes for the trade deadline to come along, and then make a honest decision. Don't just try to double down on what you have just because, the guys are going to, it's going to show. We don't need to make a move. If you don't see it, can I at least be fair and say, you got to get somebody?
Well, I mean, you can say that. And there will be all kinds of Lions fans, just like at last year's deadline, if they don't make a move, crying and crying. We have to win a Super Bowl here in Detroit.
And the window, just because Brad Holmes is building this thing the right way, just because we keep talking about the drafts have been hitting, he's hitting on the right players, he's bringing in the right energy, it's the right locker room, it's the right integrity. That don't mean the window stays open for long.
That's true.
No, but I think that Brad is so focused on making the playoffs for the next 10 years, maybe even more so than winning a championship just in 2024. Now, don't hang me up on that one because I know that we need that championship. But if this team continues to be built the way that it's built without any knee-jerk reactions, you will see us as the class of the NFC North for a decade. This is a team that has never signed a free agent to a 4 or 5 year deal. We've only re-signed our own guys that we've drafted, save Jared Goff. For me, man, it didn't hurt us last year. Do we get past them with Vince Young? No. Or not Vince Young. Sorry, the other.
Chase Young. He didn't do anything, actually.
And that's the deal. And so you look back at that and the type of capital that we would have had to have given up, that drastically affects this beautiful draft class that we just brought in. So for me, this team is being built the way that Tomlin built his Pittsburgh Steelers, the way the Pittsburgh Steelers were built in the 70s, and very much the way that the dynasty of the Patriots was built. So I wouldn't be surprised to see these guys take on smaller deals like Donovan Peoples-Jones, things like that. I don't really ever see these guys going out and making that big splash deal unless you're going to get a guy for 2 or 3 years. To give up what they would have had to give, they don't have a third rounder. Maybe they have to give up a second to get 1 year of Judon without any guarantee he re-signs. I just don't think that that's in the script for this team.
Yeah, you know what? You bring up drafts that Brad Holmes has had. Pete, why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you throw up lots of Lions in the top 25, the players of age 25. Detroit Lions, if you look at the top players under 25,
that's why you value
in the NFL.
Picks.
Look at all that Honolulu Blue ones. Look at all that Honolulu Blue ones.
How many teams on there with
24, 20,
with 3
11,
on there?
9, and 3.
It's only, one team on there with 3?
I believe
First
so. Glance.
Texans, one of the best young teams in the league.
Texans and Jets, probably. No, just 2 for the
Just
Jets.
2,
Yeah, but you look at this list. You're 24 with Jahmyr Gibbs. You're 20 with Sam Laporta. 9, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, 8, and then obviously Penei Sewell at. Look at Micah Parsons and Penei. They will forever be linked together. Sauce Gardner for Detroit's own King High School.
They could have possibly put Brian Branch on this list.
And Brian Branch is one of those things where they probably want to put him on the list, but because of the injuries last year, because of the missed games, you can't necessarily. I mean, if Trevor Lawrence is 25,
right.
But just look at the guys on this list. He can't crack this list.
Yeah, this
is a hell of a list.
This is a tough list to crack. Just I sound like I had a lisp on that. This is a tough list.
Puka Nacua is at number
crack.
14.
This is where do you like this list? Let's Lions aside. Like, do you like this list? Anson, first crack at it.
I'm sure there are some names left off.
CD's fine. Let's not focus on the names left off. You always try. What's on the list?
I'm getting past that, and when I see the guys ranked, I'd put Penei over Micah. As much as Micah does for you, we're the best offensive line in the league because of him.
Yeah,
you're not seeing,
Micah Parsons has finished runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year twice.
Penei gave up 1 sack in 17 games.
Twice in 3 years, he's run up for Defensive Player of the Year.
Who'd you rather have?
You said what?
Who'd you rather have?
Well, Micah Parsons. I've made that known. Like don't get into the argument back and forth. They're both equally as good. I would prefer to have Micah Parsons because I feel like outside linebackers, they affect the game a little bit more. I think you can get wins out of outside linebackers. So excuse me for that. But it's still great to be on the list nonetheless.
This list is almost perfect, if you ask me.
Aside from Trevor
Trevor Lawrence is 25th.
Purdy over Stroud.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Bijan didn't make this list either. Bijan
This
Robinson.
is true. This is a great point out.
He's another one that could have been on that list.
But all in all, the Detroit Lions have 5. Like that's
good.
That's saying more than a lot.
Only one team with 3.
Yeah.
5 is ridiculous.
I remember we couldn't sniff these type of lists. Like,
I mean, think about how many decades we stayed away from Lions players in fantasy drafts, unless his name was Megatron.
Right.
You know, I mean, it was literally just an embarrassment to even talk. Who is our best player on the Lions? For years, it was only Stafford, and you had no one else to list there unless we had Megatron. To be able to see what we're doing and to know that these guys are locked up for as long as they are, and we drafted all of them.
Yes,
we
sir.
developed
Homegrown.
all of them.
Right.
They're only going to continue to put more guys up on that list because there's a certain cornerback out of Alabama that I wouldn't be surprised to see on this list next year.
The funny thing about this list right here, as you look at it, the Lions have 5. 3 of those guys will be on this list for the next 2 years.
Absolutely.
Just think about it like that. Like, these aren't guys that are turning 25. I mean, with the exception of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Aiden Hutchinson. Laporte will be on this list for the next 2 years. Jameer Gibbs will be on this list for the next 2 years, and so will Penei Sewell. Is Penei even 20 yet?
he's now.
This is a hell of a team, and like you said, Brad Holmes is where it starts. We give him all the credit. Time has away.
Jeff Diamond, by the way, put this list together for the 33rd team. He is a former NFL general manager. So this comes from executives putting this list together. I'm sure it might be a little different if some players put it up, but I wouldn't have an argument for any of these players. I mean, there's a few that aren't on here that you could put on here, but this is top 25. So, man, Lions are primed for a long, long run in the playoffs. And forget the playoffs. They're in a long run for a championship. And this could be the year, man.
So at what point do Lions fans start catching up with this regime and start trusting their moves? Stop calling for players midseason at the trade deadline? At what point, Lions fans, do you understand that this is the script and they are sticking to it? Because the belly aching I heard from Lions Nation and even some of the hosts here at Woodward when the Lions didn't make a major splash last year, this is how they're doing it, guys. Right. And it is proven thus far. So why we're trying to get away from that and give up these draft picks for 5-7 games of a player that's supposedly going to alter everything that you do, I just don't get it. What I've seen these guys do in the draft and then afterwards developing these players, I don't want to give those picks up.
And I think that's fair, but I think also fans that had a problem with that, it's fair as well, because you look at the Detroit Lions. Did the Detroit Lions get enough off the edge last year to help them get to the playoffs? No. And obviously you can go back to if this catch would have been made, you get in, so it's not about the defensive line, and you'd be right. But at the same time, you go back, they needed that defensive pressure
last year. More sacks and that game's over.
100%. Yeah. And I think that's what people, but to your point, it's the first time we saw it, they stayed true. But all the other moves that they made have been electric. And now by not making that move, you're absolutely right. You do have.
If there's a year it's going to happen, though, it's this one. Yeah. Because we are square in that window.
Yeah, you're right in that window. And everything that we've seen, the Detroit Lions are no less than 4 in terms of the top teams. When you look at the power grid, the Lions are never out of the top 4.
Only for the right price.
Speaking of the tops, man, NFC North, the offenses, the skill positions, they're set to go this year. This is going to be a fun year in the NFC North. Just who do you think has the best skill room? You look at the Bears with Caleb Williams, the additions of Roma Dunazay, and then Keenan Allen, Swift. You obviously know what the Detroit Lions are holding. The Green Bay Packers were the surprise. They were the surprise skill set last year, and they turned up the last half of the season led by Jordan Love. And then the Vikings. The Vikings still have the best wide receiver in the game, Jordan Addison, as well as Hockenson. And then they add Aaron Jones over from Green Bay. Anson, I start with you.
Rank them.
This is going to be a much...
Just rank them, because I know everyone in here is going to say Detroit's 1, so we can just go 1.
This will be a much clearer question and a lot more fun to answer next season. We have no idea what Caleb or JJ is going to do. I'm not a big Caleb believer, but he's got the cast. The supporting cast is amazing. I think JJ is going to be very good, but we might not see him this season at all if Darnold plays somewhat decent. Now, next year, man, that's a toss-up between all four teams if both of those young quarterbacks show anything. But as of for this season, I'm sorry, I just can't even objectively put anybody above that Lions room. You can say that Love is better, that Caleb's ceiling's higher, but from start to finish, man, outside of Jamison Williams, I think we have the best player at each position there.
Mm-hmm. And this is what I do. I'll make it a little bit more fun, since all you guys are Lions slappies. If you're a quarterback, what skill group do you want?
I mean, it's easy there. We have the best running back there. We have the best wide receiver there. We have the best tight end there. Now, you can argue who's better between Goff and Love, and now we got these two new young guys coming. But Jamison Williams is the only guy that has somebody better than him at the number 2. You could argue Addison and him are pretty comparable, but Addison's had a better rookie season. You could certainly say that Keenan Allen is a better pro than Jamison Williams. But at this point, the running back, the number 1, and the number 1 tight end, they're just heads and tails better than everybody else that I'm seeing right there. I'm sorry.
Maz, do me a favor. I'm going to ask you, Pete, when you get a second, if you could find the running back list that we did yesterday in terms of the top 10 running backs in the NFL, I would like that, because I want Anson's take on that, because he believes Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back in the league. I want him to see that list.
I didn't say that. In the conference, though.
Okay, in the conference.
You mean the top 10 that we did yesterday, brother?
McCaffrey's number 1 all day.
Okay, so you find that list.
Got it.
You let me know. Tom Mazaway, you're a quarterback. What skill set you want?
Can I pick one from each team?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
All right. Do I have to be Jared Goff?
No, you can be Tom Mazaway.
No, I'll be Jared Goff. This is Jared Goff's offense.
Okay.
Okay. If I had to pick a running back in the NFC North, I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I had to pick a second running back in the NFC to have, it could be David Montgomery. It could be Jacobs. I like Aaron Jones. I'm an Aaron Jones guy. So I'll take Aaron Jones. That's my second running back.
That does the same thing as Jahmyr Gibbs, but not as good. You don't want a Thunderback.
When you see later how much weight that David Montgomery just lifted off the ground, he'd probably be my guy if I wanted a power back. If I wanted a power back, I'd stick with David Montgomery.
I think Jacobs.
Look at this. This is 705 pounds, guys.
God.
That's 705 pounds.
Jesus.
That's the second best running back in the division right there.
I believe so.
Okay, so let me keep going. You had your chance. You
Please,
be quiet.
sir, please.
Okay? My tight end is Sam Laporta. Bar none. Easy. Sam Laporta. My wide receiver, Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my guys. Offensive line, obviously I'm taking a Lions offensive line. That, to me, is the perfect NFC team. The perfect NFC team.
Okay.
Would you trade St. Brown for Jefferson straight up if they had the same contract for this Lions team?
Oh, God. Yes.
No.
Yes, I would.
No.
Yes, I would.
No. He's a better wide receiver, but this team is all about culture.
I know. He's not a bad kid.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I just see to me, he's the best receiver in football.
I agree.
And I know Braylon likes Devontae Adams, but I'll take Justin Jefferson over all of them.
Agreed.
Over all of them.
Yeah. Over CD, over Jamar.
I'm about touchdowns.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams gives you touchdowns.
He's the best route runner in the league.
He's still the best route runner. I'm not. Yeah, he's getting a little older. So Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. You can't go wrong with the three. AJ Brown exploded.
Remember that catch against the Bills he made?
How do you not? The Colts. The Colts catch.
Oh.
Full catch. You got that list for me, Pete?
Yes, I do. Would you like to start at 9 and 10 or 1 and 4?
We can roll through it. I just want him to see. Start 9 and 10.
All right, you got it, my friend.
Appreciate it. Here you go. 9 and 10. This is Travis Etienne, Derrick Henry, and then scroll down. Now this is where they have Jahmyr Gibbs. They have Josh Jacobs, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor. Keep going. And Saquon, Nick, and Brees ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, when you look at this list, this is why I put up there to get that reaction. You see this?
Oh, yeah.
This is the reaction I was looking for. Where do you place Jahmyr Gibbs after season 1 on the list with these guys?
I'd say that he sits around 5 or 6.
Okay.
Nick Chubb should not be on that list.
Really?
Maybe not even in the top 10.
Based on what?
Well, based on his finish 2 years ago, he was trash in the second half. And then last year he comes out and blows out his leg, I don't really understand why people are drafting him where they are in fantasy leagues, why they think he's still one of the top 5 backs
Can he play
in the
this
league.
year?
Huh?
Yes, he played.
Yeah.
He
Who
played
knows?
like
We'll see.
3 games.
He's gonna.
But
play.
then when you and
I'm talking about this year. You think he could play after
Yes,
that injury?
he-
Oh, no.
He's going to.
He
play.
tore his ACL. He'll
Now, how
play.
good he looks is different. He's going to play though.
He tore it, ladies and gentlemen. He tore
He
his
tore
ACL.
every ligament.
Right.
He'll play.
He'll play.
I'm sure he'll play,
Yeah.
but I mean, is it going to be J.K. Dobbins or is he going to be Adrian Peterson returning from an ACL?
No.
You know, I think he's going to be more towards J.K. Dobbins
I don't
considering
know.
where he
Chubb
is in
is
his
still
career.
really good.
The other one I have a massive issue with is everybody acting like Josh Jacobs is still the guy that he was a couple years ago.
He's up and down. Up and down.
There was nobody on that team last year. They had to give him the ball over and over and over and over and over and over again. So everybody's celebrating that signing for him. He's going to have one slightly above average year, and then they will rue that signing.
I won't argue on where his position is, but Anson, this is the NFL. I don't give a how many times you get somebody the ball. 1,600 yards is 1,600 yards.
We'll see what he does this year.
Yeah.
That's fair, but 1,600 yards is 1,600 yards.
No doubt. But, I mean, they couldn't get the ball to Devontae. They had nobody else.
Nah.
You know?
What number would you put?
Thank you.
What number would you put
He's
on
at 5
guy?
or 6.
He's at number 8, right?
He's at, yeah.
Yeah, he was 8.
He's
He's
got
at-
to be
I'd put him
Jameer
ahead
Gibbs
of
is
Chubb,
8.
and I'd put him ahead of Jacobs, so he's at 6.
Jonathan Taylor ahead of him still?
Yes.
Okay, you like Jonathan Taylor.
So
Why do you like
Saquon.
Brees Hall, Saquon.
B-John.
To put Bijan ahead of him,
Yes.
you're doing that based on college film. And I know that he didn't have the offense last year that Jameer did, but let's stop putting Bijan ahead of Jameer Gibbs. At the very least, put them tied. Okay, you can put him at 6A and 6B, but for me, you got to. What have you done for me lately? And Bijan, all he did was cede touches to Tyler Allgeier last year because he wasn't as effective as he was in the first couple of weeks. Arthur Smith's gone. I think that team's going to bounce back. I think that you should be drafting Kyle Pitts in your fantasy leagues, and I think that Bijan will show that he is one of the top 5 or 6 backs in this league. But right now, I can't put him ahead of Jameer Gibbs at all.
I like it. I don't have a problem with it at all. Nick Chubb come off injury. Yeah. I like that. Bijan Robinson, what have you done for me lately?
So, Bray, what do you do in the NFC North? Put your team together. Pick the best quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a tight end, and a line.
All right. You picked the line, too. But the line's the easy one. It's the Detroit Lions line. That makes all the sense. Quarterback.
Don't do it.
Don't say Jordan Love.
You're going to take Love or you're going to take
Don't you
Gardner?
do it.
Don't do it.
Don't you do it, Bray. Don't do it. We know who the best QB in the NFC North is.
Just say you're taking Love and move on.
All right, I'm taking Jordan Love.
This guy right here.
Yeah, I'm
This
telling
guy
Stick.
right
At the end of the day, Jordan Love and Jared Goff
You
are
doing
the
that
same.
off a half a season.
Well, hear me out.
Thank you.
Hear me out. Jordan Love and Jared Goff are the same quarterback. They both need an offensive system. Both have the right guy for the offensive
here we
system. Jordan Love's a little younger, a little more athletic. Like, at the end of the day, what's the issue with that? Ben Johnson has put a system in play for Jared Goff where he's thriving. He's killing it. Matt LaFleur is the guy that wanted Jordan Love.
Tell these guys to be quiet. They had
There's nothing wrong with that.
Go ahead. You got Jordan Love. Who's your running
There's
back?
nothing wrong with that. You want me to pick Jared Goff because I'm picking the
you're
Lions
skipping
offensive
clutch
line?
factor.
It's not even that.
What about clutch factor?
We need to see more out of Love. That's all I'm saying. Before we crown him,
I'm not-
a lot of people,
I'm
not you, but a lot of people have
crowning.
crowned him.
I'm not crowning him.
Yeah.
Not crowning him. It's just quarterback that I would choose.
I
But hey,
feel you.
look,
Go ahead.
let me choose Jared Goff. Sure.
All right, now you may proceed.
Let me take Jared Goff with his 15 indoor games this year. I take Jordan Love. I take Jefferson. That's where it gets interesting is the wide receiver position. I take Jefferson, Amon-Ra, and Keenan Allen.
Yes, sir.
I take those 3, and then give me obviously Sam Laporta.
Yep. And who's your back? Who's your 2 backs?
This is easy. I'm not a Swift fan. Josh Jacobs, I agree. And then Aaron Jones, he's hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So I will take Jameer Gibbs.
And your number 2?
David Montgomery.
My man.
David Montgomery.
Yes, sir.
Get you.
Let's go.
Being
David
a lion
Montgomery.
slapper. Look at you. I'm just saying, though.
Get him a jersey.
First of all, what do you mean a lion slappy? If I got Jameer Gibbs as my 1, I don't need DeAndre Swift as my 2.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't need Aaron Jones as a 2 or Josh Jacobs.
I thought you would
need
pick Aaron Jones, but I feel you though.
Aaron Jones hurt a lot.
Yeah,
like, he's injured a lot. Like, every time Maz look, every season in fantasy football, I look up Maz like, Aaron Jones, he's out again. That's Maz's. That's Maz's real team. Maz is really a Packer guy.
Maz loves Aaron Jones.
That's my beef with Maz.
He's really a Packer.
That's my beef with Maz.
Listen, respect your elders, man.
You got mad on
Respect your elders.
Maz over there.
Maz is really a Packer guy. But long story short, you look at the NFC North, you look at the offenses, this should be a fun year when you're watching NFC North inter-rivalry battles, man. You look at the Bears, if Caleb Williams is anything decent to what we believe he can be or what they say he's going to be, that team is fun. Roman Dunizé was one of those wideouts that I like to watch a lot in Pac-12, so you look at that, we know what the Lions are. And Green Bay, it was only a 9-week span that you saw them explode like that on that field, but those guys can play, man. That wide receiver core, that is the best wide receiver core, I think, in the division right now. We saw that, the consistency. So, and then Vikings are just always a question mark. Even when they're great, it's always like, can they? Will they? Is it? Will it?
They won 13 games and was a fraud a couple years back.
13 games, they were 11-0 and what, one score games?
Yeah.
Like, that had never happened
fell apart
again.
in the playoffs, lost to Danny Dimes. Like, come on.
Don't sleep on them.
Yeah, this is true, man. We will see. Let's take a quick commercial break, reload real quick, and then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about
more
Jared
NFL.
Goff. We got more NFL. We'll let Tom actually go around the NFL. But first, let's get a message from man Anson over there with KDK Law.
Are you dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues? You better call Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham because they will absolutely have your back. 10 plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. That's huge. Scan the QR code that you see on the screen right there or call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you and KDK will pay your entire filing fee. It's huge. KDK Law, they have got your back.
And also somebody who has your back is Guardian Alarm. So what happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? Tells bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. That technology has been proven to work, and those people have been proven to care. So call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today and tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We'll be right back.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Soroki's home of the best biscuits in the business right now. The honey biscuits are why you come. But with that being said, the Nashville Hot is back. The pizza is fire. The chicken tenders are slept on, as my man KG said. That sandwich is spicy. I warn you. Caution. Sandwich is spicy, but it is good. And if that's not your speed, then they are home of the crispy chicken and pizza, and with the fresh sides and fresh salad. This is simply the place to be. And oh, by the way, one more time, don't forget about those biscuits.
Thank you for not forgetting about those biscuits.
I never forget about the biscuits.
I love them.
As you see right here, Soroki's crispy chicken and pizza. We got to add the biscuits somewhere in there.
Make sure when you order, you get the biscuits.
We get the fine print going for the biscuits.
Get the biscuits.
Tom Mazaway, do us a great favor and take us around the NFL.
I know it, man. And this is something Lion fans will have their eyes on. It's Cam Sutton, who officially was suspended yesterday by the NFL. 8 games without pay for, of course, the dues that he did, the violating the NFL personal conduct policy. Here's the kicker for Lions now. They had a guarantee for him for $10.5 million that they wrote the NFL and said, we should be able to recoup that money.
Give a salute.
So Cam Sutton wants his money.
Of course.
But now the Lions have a real opportunity, now that the NFL seems to be almost on their side, suspending this guy for the first 8 games. So the Lions have a chance to add $10.5 million to their cap this year.
Give a salute.
How about it?
Yeah.
No, they're trying to add 10.5 because he's being suspended.
Yeah. Well, no, because when they cut him.
Right.
Yeah. I think the Lions
cut him because he broke the conduct policy.
100%.
I think the Lions kept $4 million up until this point, so maybe they can recoup the other 6. But yeah, that's what it looks like now.
It's interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the Lions. We'll see what happens with the.
Cam Sutton's not going to fight it. He's just going to take the suspension.
So if we get that money, what do we do? What do we do with it?
Well, it gives you more room to
get Matthew Judon
to get somebody.
I'm joking.
Or resign your people. You know.
Hey, I showed you earlier David Montgomery lifting that 705.
We can do it again.
Let's go again. And Bray, what say you on this lift?
It's easy. Now you see that lift. You know he can do more, but smart, not to necessarily do more. You don't want to give yourself a hernia going into football season. Season is here.
Did you say that's easy?
Well, for him, I'm saying just watch his lift. Like 1, 2, 3, little struggle there, gets right
crazy,
there,
man.
Locks it at the top. Drops it back down. I ain't say it's easy. I said for him.
What's crazier, Kenta G, he's doing that barefooted.
Oh, that's how a lot of guys.
That's even crazier,
man.
That's how a lot of guys do the deadlift, man. They lock their feet. They lock into the platform a little bit more.
Do receivers do that? Do they do that lift?
Yeah, anybody can do it. They don't do it as much. You won't see guys do, especially this close. See, this is what always bothers me about running backs. You put all that pressure on there. It's just for show. It's
on your knees, man.
You put it on there. You put it on social media so everybody can say, look at David Montgomery, 705. Look at Jalen Hurts does it all the time. Saquon Barkley does it all the time. Nick Chubb does it all the time. Everybody I just named gets hurt.
Yep.
And I'm not saying it's directly related to it, but why do I need to be putting 800 pounds on there? 750, 705. There's no need for it. It's fun. There's no need for it.
Yeah. Can I backtrack to this money we're going to get from Cam Sutton?
Yeah,
sure.
Because
please.
That kind of money would allow us to go out and sign Justin Simmons. And I think that would be the piece that would shore up our secondary, give us the depth that would make, again, your front four and your linebacker unit even better.
You don't like what they have in that secondary?
I love what we have.
I don't know who the hell's gonna sit.
My concern is the depth of safety and at high-end playmaking ability at the top of that. There's some weird stuff about Iffy where they may not love him.
Yeah.
As good as he was as a player on the field, I've been reading on some things where he may not vibe with the culture that we have in Allen. I have.
What are you reading?
A lot of Twitter.
That's
a lot of Twitter,
source,
my friend.
man.
But I think that Justin Simmons is a guy that comes in.
Penthouse Forum?
The penthouse.
Man, I used to steal those out of my brother's closet.
Penthouse forward.
Reading for the articles, right?
You would never believe it was true unless it happened to you. But
exactly.
No, Justin Simmons, I that's the guy that I've been wanting for some months now. I'm surprised he's still on the board.
His coach is here.
I know that he's tied to the Giants a little bit right now, but if we were able to free that money up and you could sign Justin Simmons to a 1 year, $6-7 million deal, I'd do it all day long.
By the way, speaking of the Giants, Hard Knocks Part 2 on tonight. If you
won't
missed
be watching,
Part 1, you saw them talking about what they were going to do with Saquon Barkley. Right now, at this point, they're still debating, should we sign Saquon Barkley? John Mara came in, who was the owner of the Giants, and he's like, what happens if we let the face of our franchise basically walk away? Joe Shane, the GM, is saying, look, we got a $40 million quarterback to protect. Why should we have a $40 million quarterback handing off to a $12 million running back? He's like, there aren't a lot of teams that need running backs. Who the hell needs a running back? So they have no idea yet that the Philadelphia Eagles are about to hoodwink them and take this guy off their hands. So tonight's episode might uncover that.
So as a Giants fan, I got to ask you, because I watched the first episode, and when you compare it to the Lions, even with them being a terrible franchise, when they did the Hard Knocks, what I saw in that team and in that locker room, that culture we've talked about so much, versus what I'm seeing in the Giants just seem like a sinking boat.
Yes, a mess.
They really seem like they're just trying to figure out how they can get people to buy hot dogs, while the Lions are trying to figure out how they finally get that chip. They're just worlds away. Did you get the same feeling?
Not really. I like Brian Daboll as a head coach.
Okay.
I like this Joe Shane guy, at least so far from what I know about him.
Why are you kind of laughing while you're saying that?
Because they suck.
It's a mess.
Because they suck.
Yeah, you know it's a mess.
But they're better than their record. Braylon, am I wrong? Are they not better than the 6 wins they had last year?
Yeah, you don't get any. If you say healthy, which is always a question, I think they're slightly better than that. The biggest thing that they didn't have playmakers at the skill position. Right? They didn't have anybody to help out Saquon Barkley. That was the guy and where they were going. And if teams could key in on him, you didn't have that guy at wide receiver that you were scared of. You didn't have that tight end that necessarily could take the top off and also work the slot, work the middle of the field, that is, pause. You didn't have that. So they kind of were floating around where they were, and they don't have a guy that can create at the quarterback position. You insert Malik Neighbors, insert Singletary, insert better offensive line play this season. Daboll now has more time with Danny Dimes. Because let's not act like Josh Allen and Daboll hit it off right away. It takes a little bit of time. So optimistically, they'll be a better team, but I just don't trust the guy. And just like I said yesterday, when you see Daboll's reaction with that surface on the sideline to that play in the red zone, it tells you everything that he thought and he thinks about him. Sometimes you have to make stuff work in sports. Coaches got to work with players that they don't necessarily want. I see that to be the case. But I think it'll be much better this year. They will be a better team. And it's the NFC East. Anything can happen.
Burns is on the other side now.
The defense is no problem.
Yeah.
The defensive line, you got Lawrence on that line still. You have Burns on that line still. And oh, by the way, Kayvon Thibodeau is starting to come into his own. You see he and what's his name I got into a little bit. Who's talking about Kayvon Thibodeau? LT. LT said something about Kayvon Thibodeau. He's like, how many sacks you have last year? Oh, man, you didn't do that much.
I know.
So there's some beef there. Word to Kayvon Thibodeau. LT is LT. Take that loss.
Yeah.
That's
take that loss.
Coming from him.
You may be right, but you're wrong.
What do you think the line is for their wins this year?
I'd say it's probably right around 8.
6.5, 7.
You are correct.
6.5.
What would you take?
Over.
I take the over. Take the over.
If
it was anything more, I would. If it was 7.5, I'm not taking it.
Yeah.
I was going to guess 7.5.
Double pause, triple pause.
They're going to win 8 or 9 games.
I still think Neighbors was the best wide receiver in the draft. I think that it's the best target that Vanilla Vic has ever had. Devin Singletary has played fantastic basketball in the football in the last third of the last 2 seasons. Been really great finisher. He's certainly a poor man's Singletary.
Malik Neighbors over Marvin Harrison Jr.
I know. I just think that he's Tyreek Hill 2.0.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
And if you take Marvin Harrison Jr. and you put him in the league 15 years ago, I would select him.
Gotcha.
But the type of football that's being played right now, I really love Neighbors. That Daniel Bellinger, I love him as a young tight end, and the defense isn't a problem. This is a team that could certainly not only win 7 games, but could surprise into 8 or 9.
Yeah, I agree.
By
the way, Super Bowl 59 going to be in Santa Clara, home of the 49ers. And it looks like Miley Cyrus will get the call to be the halftime show.
Pete don't like that.
No.
She finished runner-up last year to Usher.
No.
Just to let you know.
49er fans are going to have a hard time watching the Lions and the Chiefs in that Super Bowl in their hometown.
How do I word this in the right way? We knew it was coming. Last year, Usher is more R&B,
of course,
hip-hop, if you will.
Yeah.
Super Bowl in L.A. was a hip-hop show featuring Mary J. Blige as well. Like, it was time to get back to Miley Cyrus, who's doing country music again. So we are in a country music era. Like when you watch American Idol, you listen to the songs. Hell, Beyonce's got the #1 country album. So
everyone's crossing over to country,
and it makes sense.
It's hot.
And she's at least originally country. She popped over to the black side for a minute.
Right,
she
for
went
a
back.
hot second. And quickly ran back. Quickly ran back.
She went back. Pete, I promise you I get you another commercial break.
Yeah, you
one
got
last commercial break, and we'll come back for the final segment of the show.
Do the Boys and Girls, my
With
friend.
that, we will do the Boys and Girls Club. Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit. The Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan, 3C Sports League. Now, this sports league wasn't there when I was there, but they definitely had some great people, some great administrators and guidance counselors that got guys and got young girls to do the right thing, and they're still doing it. Offered youth ages 5 to 14. Parents, don't you want to put your kids in something for the summer? Don't you want to get them outside away from the video games? Here's how you do it. Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All coaches are trained, certified, and undergo rigorous background checks. Register for football or cheer at bgcsm.org.
All right, and then over to me for Wake Up Woodward. There it is. Woodward Sports got a new morning show. Not so new. We do our thing here and there, man. But it's Wake Up Woodward Day. Every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10, live on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and myself every morning as we cover all of Detroit sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction on Detroit's #1 sports network. I said #1, Woodward Sports.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join him every Tuesday during Big D Energy. Thursdays right here with us. Top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC and Braylon both trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce here to keep you in the game, performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944 for Dr. Jeff Pierce.
Mazzy, baby, appreciate the read, man. But if you or anybody else is tired of the same old Detroit sports merch, don't worry, we got you, man. WoodwardSports.com and click shop, man. We got hoodies, hats, tees, everything guaranteed to turn heads. And you know we got that Boo That Kids shirt, man. Boo them kids. That game coming up soon, man. But boo, you damn right. But go to WoodwardSports.com today and click shop.
Hey, you better watch out. You saw what happened when they booed Djokovic kids.
Oh yeah,
on the tennis court. They booed his daughter. He went out there and whooped old boys.
I love the Joker.
Then hit him with the violin play. I was like, hey, you better watch out.
He did.
Sometimes that booing nigga come back on you.
You love the Joker, don't you?
60,000.
What?
You can't fight 60,000 people. So
Novak Djokovic is. We can get into tennis another time, but tennis was first sport I ever played. Franklin Racket Club back in the day. Before we forget, Dante 151. Look, man, you always support all the shows. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Dante.
Where you getting all these funds from, man? Let me know your parlays, because you seem to be winning on a day-to-day basis. Man. This comes from him. $10 that was, $9.99 to be exact. Maz, you can forget about the Darren Waller fiasco on if he will retire or not retire, and ultimately retire from football. That has to be on Hard Knocks. If it isn't, then that would be sad.
I would love to see Kelsey Plum on Hard Knocks.
You know why it won't be? Because he retired.
Because why he retired?
From vaccination effects, side effects.
Wow.
You guys, I will say it loud and proud. This isn't a football injury. This isn't any issue with that. If you go and you look into it, he's so uncomfortable in life and so unable to live day to day, and he's fearful of his future. And that is why no one's talking about Darren Waller. Why is anybody talking about Asar Thompson? Have we heard anything about his blood clot for months?
No.
This is true.
How about Kobe's kid?
Hey,
LeBron's kid?
That's what I meant.
LeBron's kid. No, I mean, like had another guy from the Chiefs had a heart attack in the OTAs.
Yeah.
When are people going to start talking about this? Nobody but Woodward's talking about this.
Djokovic said no thank you to the shot.
That's right, he sure
was
did.
barred for so many tournaments.
God bless him.
And here he is. Still
and Kyrie Irving too, baby.
Yeah.
Hold him up while they beat him down.
I love you guys. Time matters away. We got about 5 more minutes. What direction do you want to go? It looks like this rain, man. I hope the game doesn't get rained out tonight.
Nah, I think it'll be all right. How about Dak Prescott? A little bit about him.
Oh, God.
Is
he's
he
not
trying
only
to get
looking
paid?
to be the first $60 million a year quarterback,
Come on, 60?
but he's been hobbling around with a boot.
Is this
a
the
walking
year?
boot. He's hobbling around.
Is this the year?
I wouldn't pay Dak Prescott. I keep telling you, and I've been saying it. Dallas Cowboys will fall. They will fall to this is the year. Them and the Bills.
Yes,
mark
sir.
my words. 100%.
Yeah.
But with that, $60 million,
It's
60
crazy.
for what?
They didn't want to pay him the first time. And then he turned around
At
and got
some
hurt.
point in time, I understand what the market is. I understand what the market dictates. I understand what you've done, blah, blah, blah. But you got to put some wins behind this cash that we're footing this bill.
Yeah.
We're giving you all this money for this imaginary road and journey that you're going to take us on. When are you going to get there? $60 million for Dak Prescott is absurd. Now, I'm not knocking his stats, and he has a lot of stats.
He'll be
a
great
lot
in
of
the regular
empty
season.
stats. No one cares about the regular season.
Yeah.
I'm paying quarterbacks to get to the playoffs. I'm actually playing them to get to the NFC and AFC championships and eventually give myself a chance for a Super Bowl. Why am I paying Dak 60? We know what he is. He's a 4th-round quarterback who's only going to go to the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he was fantastic from a statistical sense last year. But is this? I mean,
great! He beat up on the Eagles team that finally they took a dip
and got
I share
embarrassed
your
in the
sentiments in this being the year for them and the Bills to falter. Are they a playoff team this year, though?
Nope.
Really? It's a bold statement.
I don't think the Cowboys are a playoff team.
Got a lot of talent, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
Dysfunctional talent. They all don't like each other.
That's true.
No, for real. You got CD Lamb brother beefing with Dak Prescott's mom.
Michael Parsons beefing with the whole, half the defense.
They dysfunctional.
So is he the second best player under 25 in the NFL?
Michael Parsons?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where you get drafted to has no marring on the way you play. The way in which,
But if you causing problems,
it's not him causing problem. It starts at the top. It's the owner. The owner is the one that allows this circus to go on. He's been allowing it for years. He got away with it back in the 90s because they were just that damn good. And oh, by the way, they had Switzer and they had Johnson. This ain't Switzer and this damn sure ain't Johnson.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Jones is the problem. He's the catalyst because he's the one that has these little cliques that he has. He talks to certain players, not other players. Yep. He has certain players that, hey, don't tell coach this, that, and the
tell
third.
the team
when
business
you have
on
that
radio.
going on and you got the buddy systems, you watch clip. You know, you got the guy and everybody else. People feel like that. Micah Parsons is the guy, and he has the biggest mouth as well.
Yeah,
so,
and, I mean, that was probably one of the reasons why the Lions did select Panay over him, because they were building that culture. It would be interesting to see Micah in Detroit, though, if he would be a quote-unquote problem personality-wise.
I got a piece of video for you guys from back in the day. Jared Goff. Pete, we still got this?
Yep.
Jared Goff pretended he was a transfer out of college. He goes over there. He faked being a transfer at a junior college. Take a look at this.
So disrespectful.
Make that play.
Really strong arm.
A couple inches taller, you'd add that.
I'm gonna have to back it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just getting warm a little bit, so let's back it up. So,
back it up, back it up.
At some point, I'm gonna throw it like over everybody's head.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, Broski's got some juice. Hey, great ball, great ball.
Can you make some catches out here? It's gonna be fun to be in character for however long it is. Hey, what's up, man? Sorry, hey, I'm Dre. What's your name?
Dom.
Dog?
Dom.
13 any good?
You talking about the quarterback?
Yeah.
They both pretty good, though. So, I mean, it ain't...
What was y'all's record last year, though? That's why I'm here, right?
What you mean? We still got solid quarterbacks, though. It ain't gonna be handed to you. You gotta work for it, baby. I'm up right here.
All right, hey, you fast?
Yeah. I got you.
All right, ball's coming.
What? Come on.
Got one, finally.
RB. He gave you a gift. B1 quarterback. You see that throw against cover 2? Put it right in there. We haven't had a guy do that in a while.
There you go. Good shot.
There you go. Yes, sir. Hey, bring it up for a second. Hurry up. We're going to bring in the best players we can bring in. I don't freaking care if I brought in an NFL quarterback. You guys have to compete. So with that being said, that's exactly what I did today. I brought in an NFL quarterback. Come on up here, Jared.
Are you kidding me?
The funny thing is when he took his hat and the hair off, they still didn't know who he was. The coach had to tell him. He said, "This is Jared Goff." They was, Jared Goff. They didn't even know. It was like, oh, okay, we supposed to know.
Fantastic.
Eli did a funny job with this too, man. But whenever you think of skits like this, I always think of the one on Saturday Night Live where Caden's throwing to the kids and he's getting pissed off.
Oh, Peyton? That's the best ever.
Yo,
Best ever.
That's one of my favorites, like athletic skits or whatever you call it.
So now that he's retired, Brady's got one more year of eligibility at Michigan, from what I'm reading.
Who?
Tom Brady.
Tom
You guys
Brady.
bringing him back?
Nah.
You sure?
He's professional. He's already taken.
No, actually, the rule is now, because he's retired,
right,
he still has a year of eligibility left in Michigan.
Stop it.
Stop. You don't like that, KG?
Stop it, man.
Trying to give you guys some corn and blue love today.
Anyway,
we don't need fake love, man.
Right,
We're national
man.
champs.
Thank you, Braylon. Talk to him. Kiss
Cut
the
it there.
rings. Kiss
we
the
appreciate
rings.
you guys for tuning in, man. Woodward Sports. Ermanni there was with Maz, my man Anson Wells, filling doing a tremendous job as always. Greg Kesler, we appreciate you for coming on the show. And remember, that's GregoryKesler.com to find out all the information about his camp. For my man Anson Wells, Tom Mazaway on the couch, KG in the audio booth, and my man to the right, Pete Spivak. We are Ermanni and Errol from Maz, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
See you, folks.